Good morning.
And good afternoon. It's Maule and Poogie over here.
Yeah.
And we have more energy today. Did you notice
we
that?
do. Yeah.
Is that because your heart's fixed?
Heart's fixed.
All right. So
Watch it go.
tell us. Oh, yeah. Tell us what you had so we'll know.
I
always wondered what was wrong with
a
you.
cardiac ablation.
Is that like a Chevrolet ablazer?
No, it's a little different.
Cardiac ablation.
Yeah, cardiac ablation. They started those things about, probably about 25 years ago. And actually, my daughter, Melody, I took her to Houston to have one. Her little heart would run away, and sometimes it would get up to like 250 beats a minute.
Wow.
And she would have to do crazy little old stuff to try to get it to get back in its right rhythm.
What would she do? Stand on her head?
Stand on her head.
I was joking.
Stick her face in cold water. Stuff like that will, make you return to a rhythm sometimes, or return to one you don't want to be.
Yeah.
So anyway.
So stand on your head, stick your face in water. Was like drink a beer or something? Some orange juice?
No, that wasn't part of it.
Okay.
But
now,
anyway,
was it scary for her?
Yes. Yeah, she came down here when she was 16 and stayed with me for a while. And she worked at Mize department store.
No.
And she called me one afternoon and said, "Dad, my heart is going between 250 and 300 beats per minute."
Wow.
I said, "Melody, you can't be counting that fast."
Was she counting in twos or something?
I don't know. But she said, "Have a feel." So I checked her pulse. And
what did you feel like? It was like,
yeah. How? Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
It's a heartbeat.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was a mighty fast one. Anyway, so she came out and got in the car with me, and we went down to hospital, and they worked on her and got that thing turned around. But then we found out she had a problem called WPW, Wolff Parkinson disease.
I'll look that up.
Wolff Parkinson.
You tell me about it while I look that up.
And then there was another one, SVT, and there's some difference in them. I don't know what it is. I don't remember. It's been too long. But it was supraventricular tachycardia, SVT, and WPW.
Man,
are you?
I'm not keeping up with you on all of that because. You said lots of initials.
Yeah. Well, you're looking for WPW.
Safari cannot open the page because server cannot be found. So something's wrong here. But anyway, Wolff
Parkinson disease.
Wolff Parkinson disease. What does that mean?
It's just a tachycardia. Where your heart runs. And mine got that way when I was first diagnosed with this. I went down for a routine blood pressure check at my doctor's office, and felt fine when I left the house. And when I got down there, they checked my blood pressure, and it was like 200 over 120 or something like that. And they said, "We need to get you back here in the back and do a little more checking on this." So they did, and he said, "You've got atrial fibrillation." So he sent me down to a local heart doctor, and he tried with medication down there that day to get that thing to resolve, and it wouldn't. So he took me across the street to the hospital and put me about halfway to sleep and shocked me.
Was this recently?
It was about 6 or 8 months ago.
Wow.
wasn't a big deal. I went on home and everything, and it stayed resolved. I mean, it stayed right.
What do you mean he shot you?
Shocked me.
Shocked you?
Like with so many joules of medical electricity.
So it's sort of a lobotomy that slipped down a little bit, really, isn't it? I mean, you've had a lobotomy of your heart. Is that possible? Now, is this congenitalia or not? Did you have it?
What?
Congenitalia. Did you have it at birth?
No, I did not have it at birth. But I think I inherited it from my mother because she spent most of her adult life with atrial fibrillation. Yeah. Yeah. And they think that I might have.
Well, what did he shock you with? Like paddles?
Those paddles, I suppose. I was out of it enough that I didn't see.
Yeah.
But Tammy was outside and she heard me make a little
squeak,
cry for help.
No.
When they hit
Can
me.
you recreate that for us? I mean, did you like go,
oh?
It's like, I want to go there.
Woo.
You didn't have any of that Pentecostal stuff?
I don't remember that, but she said that, that evidently was pretty powerful.
Wow.
But anyway, got that done, and it didn't. I didn't have any more problem with it until about went back for another routine deal, and the little nurse, I could tell something was wrong when she put me on the EKG. She said, "I'll be back in a minute."
That's a bad sign.
When they do that,
yeah.
I want to say, go ahead and tell me before you go.
Yeah. Because
it seems like 3 hours before they get back.
Mm-hmm.
So he came in, the doctor came in. He said, "You've got that AFib again." He said, that may have been something you've had a long time and just had a mild version of it and just it didn't bother you. I mean, he said, "Do you feel bad?" I said, "No, I don't feel bad at all." And so went back to that same heart doctor, and he said, I have a doctor friend of mine in Tyler, and he said he can fix you up. He said he can go in there and freeze those little things that make that do that. And so that's what they did to me.
So how did they
this
go
past
inside?
Wednesday was they went through my groin but it wasn't a
was a wire or something.
Yeah.
How does
I don't know how they do it, but I don't even.
No, but I mean, what if it makes a wrong turn and goes down your leg or something?
Yeah.
You didn't. I mean, did you know when they got to your heart with it?
I was asleep.
You were asleep.
Yeah, they intubated me and all the.
Oh, wow.
So it was, enough. I had a sore throat for 2 or 3 days, and my chest was sore, and they said that's where all that stuff went up through there.
In your heart over here.
Yeah, but it went in on the right side, and also right there's where the other one. This one went into these went into veins down here.
Yeah.
And that's an artery right there that they went. So they went in 2 different places.
What gauge is that wire?
I don't know.
I mean, like thread.
I don't know. They didn't let me look at it.
They didn't talk you through.
They didn't ask me anything about that. What gauge wire I wanted. But, I suppose that they knew.
Yeah. I just was curious,
Yeah. I'll ask. I'm going back.
Yeah, ask him if it's
my buddy wants to know.
Like
he's got a.
Do y'all have any left over of that? We're building a fence, or we're going to try to wire
fence splice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, but I will find that out.
Did you have any near-death experiences or anything? Did you dream?
No, but I want to tell you, this new stuff that they put you to sleep with.
Yeah.
These days.
Jesus juice.
I was laying back on that flat on that thing and on that
Let's set the stage. What did you have on at that moment?
Nothing except that little old gown that
you have
your
the
back end sticks out of.
Yeah, what's the deal?
Never can get that tight.
What's the deal with the back end? I mean, why can't they have a little back there? They never operate back there.
Yeah. I don't know. But anyway, I was laying up there and still had that on.
And were you still talking and stuff?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I like to tell stories.
Right.
And
I bet you were pretty funny.
I was telling them about.
Had they already given you a little relaxation?
Well, I'm going to get to that.
Okay.
I'm getting there. I was telling them about me at 5 or 6 or 7 years old. I don't remember what year it was, but I was really young, and my sister was still a couple of years younger, but she was 2 years younger than me.
Okay.
And we both went down on a little family plan to get our tonsils removed.
Lay away at Sears there.
Yeah. Mr. Alders, you have now got those tonsillectomies paid out to bring those children down.
Wow.
Anyway, so I was telling them about that. I was telling all these doctors. There's like 20 people in there. I mean, they had a
crew.
A crew, yeah. And so I was telling them about that. And this nurse, anesthetist, or anesthesiologist, whatever she was right over the top of me. She said, "Why don't you?"
Shut up.
That's what she meant. But she said, "I have got some really nice oxygen coming through this mask right here."
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed like that mask was just up there kind of like this microphone where you could just kind of move it around wherever you wanted to. And she just took it and put it right down on my face. She said,
did she stare in your eyes when she did it?
I couldn't see her back there. My neck was hurting me.
Okay.
Anyway, she said, "Now, isn't that some good oxygen?" And then just like that, you're gone. And just like that.
Was there a thunderclap?
Yes. Maybe a little lightning. I don't know. But anyway, then the next thing, you're awake again. And I was in there yodeling like my daughter said, "Dad, you woke up yodeling."
Can you
yodeling hee hoo, like Woody. That's how he does.
So you're out of it, and
I woke up.
Pretend, act
and
for
I
me
had
right now.
a leg, this left leg. The guy was trying to take the stitches. He had one stitch in this and one stitch in this.
Yeah.
And he was trying to remove those things. And he said, "I can't do this till you quit moving that leg and quit that yodeling."
Yeah.
But they had a lot of fun with me.
I bet.
Then they brought me a plate of meatloaf in there. I had ate dinner the night before.
Yeah.
And then it had been all night, and then it was 2:00 in the afternoon before they ever took me back there to do that. So by 4:00, by the time they got through, I was kind of needing to eat again.
Yeah.
And so they brought me some meatloaf and mashed taters to the recovery room.
Yeah.
And I was real dry. I needed some water.
Did they taste good?
Clear water.
Yeah. That meatloaf was good.
It was really good.
Yeah.
Hospital meatloaf.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I've had that.
Yeah.
Well, so you had no dreams. You didn't.
No, you don't dream on this new stuff.
What do you do?
You just go to sleep, and they hurry up and get it fixed. And I mean, it was like I went to sleep, and I was awake.
And how long did it take?
2 hours.
So they spent 2 hours, and you were just like, for you, it was like 2 minutes or 2 seconds.
But I felt mighty good when I woke up.
Right.
I got me some good sleep. Yeah, it was some really good stuff. I'm going to ask them another thing I'm going to ask them when I go back down there is I'm going to ask them what that stuff was.
Yeah. That's that Michael Jackson stuff.
Might be. Could be.
Sizz Up or something, I think.
What?
Sizz Up, they call it. They put a little grape soda in.
Huh.
Little monster drink.
It makes you rest pretty good. And but
when you called me, were you out of it?
I don't remember calling you.
Well, I was like,
I mean, it was as good it was almost like you'd had too much to.
Well, that's the way I thought you'd gone to Taco Bell or something afterwards
before, but I can kind of know what it probably feels like.
No, you called me like, yeah, I've been yodeling, and
I told you I had been yodeling.
Yeah,
I don't know how they got all that started.
I
think my little girl might have been.
She might have been teasing you a little bit. Well, I asked, are you alone right now? Because I was worried about you. I thought you might be sitting on the curb outside in Tyler.
Waiting for somebody to pick me
up. Yeah. I was worried about that.
Yeah.
Because that happened to me one time. Do you know?
Out of a hospital and sat on a curb?
Let me tell you this story. It's a little weird.
I'm interested.
Now, I went to the dentist here because I was having some little problems. And he said, man, it's your wisdom teeth. And I said, I don't have wisdom teeth. I had them taken out. Yeah. And he goes, want to see? And so, they put me in this headgear with x-rays and stuff. And I looked at it and I'm like, I have wisdom teeth. But I have a fly is eating me up. But I have a distinct memory, both in my wallet and in my behavior, that I went to a dentist.
That this had already happened.
That I paid a lot of money to be put out.
It had to be cut out.
And had surgery to have my wisdom teeth moved in Los Angeles, okay?
Yeah.
And when I woke up, they just said, okay, go out in the lobby or whatever and sit down. And the next thing I knew, I was sitting on the curb of a really busy street like Wilshire Boulevard or something. And I was just sitting there on the curb like a homeless man going, hi, hi, ha, ha, and people, even the homeless people felt sorry for me. They were like, you must have had your wisdom teeth out because you can't talk and your tongue's off, off to the side. And pretty soon my wife at the time drove up and goes, what the heck are you doing? And I'm like, and she said, get in this car. And they had let me go 5 floors in the elevator down and pushed me out on the street. Somebody could have taken, I don't know if I had any jewelry on at the time, but I had a wallet.
What's your buddy?
What, my fly? And, and then
I'm going to hit it if it comes back.
Okay. But here it is 25 years later, and I've still got those wisdom teeth. All that
they grew back again?
No, all that doctor did, it's not like a worm's tail. All that doctor did was take my money and put me out and then drop me off on the curb.
I had an uncle.
Be careful in Los Angeles.
I had an uncle one time that growed him another. He had his tonsils removed and growed him another. Wow. Now that was the story. I didn't never look to see, but my mother testified that that.
I don't think that happens. I think he didn't cut them all out. Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe left the root or something.
Just like potato plant. I tell you, that Los Angeles is dangerous sometimes because I've had several things grow back on me.
I had to stay up there overnight because I kept messing with them nurses in there and telling them that I was going to drive home.
Oh, scared them to death.
And they said, Mr. Alders, if you don't shut that up real soon, the wrong person's going to hear you. They said, we know you're not going to drive home.
Right.
We know that you're full of bull. And
okay.
So if you'll quit that, you may not have to spend the night up here.
Did you know that my belly button fell off one time?
Did it?
Yeah.
In the show or just
no, in real life.
Really fell off?
I was working out trying to be, Hollywood and stuff. Yeah. And I was doing sit-ups and my belly button just went like this. And And for years, 10 or 15 years, I would just politely push it back inside, and it would stay there till it got bored, and then it would pop out. And then I started, and this is God's truth, I started taping a quarter in it. You know, I'd push it in and tape a quarter, and then I'd be working, and that quarter would go ding.
That's when it made interest.
Yeah, it hit all. So finally, when I moved to Nacogdoches, you know, I had my I had that quarter removed, and then I had my belly button sewed back in, and that was an interesting kind of thing, you know.
I bet it was,
because one of the nurses now.
Anybody say your quarter popped out?
No, but see, one time years later, I was in a store, and this lady and she was like, "Oh, Brad, I know you." And I said, "Oh, yeah, I kind of know you," and stuff. And she said, "Now, this is against all the rules, okay? But do you mind if I tell a story to you about what you said while you were coming out of the stuff?" And I said, "I don't care about all that kind of stuff. I was, doped up or whatever. I'm sure I said some funny stuff." And she said, "When you woke up, you looked to the doctor and you said, 'I hope you didn't take my ovaries out.'" And they just kind of all went, "Well, that's never happened before." What was I thinking?
I don't know.
And she said that was the funniest thing. She said patients say really weird things.
Yeah. I'm sure I said some stuff.
But in my small brain at that time on that stuff, I thought I had ovaries.
And you did not want them removed.
I did not want them removed in case someday I might want to have children. And she said, "Honey, you're not going to have any children. Not that way."
Yeah.
But anyway, I felt comforted by that. What would have been bad if she had said, "Oh, no, we left those ovaries intact," you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
This surgery stuff. Now, did you wake up after you got well and stuff? Did you just suddenly go, "Golly, I feel good"? Like James Brown.
The doctor kept telling me when I went down there for the consult or whatever it was.
Follow-up visit?
For the original visit.
Okay.
To find out what he could do for me or what he could or couldn't do for me. He said, "I'm going to have you feeling much better." He said, I'm going to...
don't make promises you can't keep.
I said, "Buddy, I don't feel bad now. I feel good right this minute." He said, "You can't. Not with that heart rate." I said, "I do." He said, "You don't feel really good." I said, "Yes, I do." I said, I go work every day and do what I want to do, and I enjoy doing it. And I said, I don't feel bad." He said, "Well, okay, maybe so." He thought that the way that was happening, that
well, you're supposed to be like sleepy all the time,
and I do have to admit that I can sit down over there in that chair over there, that kind of a porch recliner, and I can take me a nap. I can be asleep in about 5 minutes, and if I can sleep about 10 minutes in the afternoon, feels like I just got up in the morning.
Oh. I have those days when I come home and I'm just like almost comatose. I'll sit down and I'm like,
yeah. Then I'll call.
Huh?
Then I'll call you.
Absolutely. Every time.
Want to talk about
I work for a living. Okay.
And what do I do?
I don't know, but I'll ask you in a minute. But I work hard every day. There's like 51 snowflakes, but 51 students that are that are asking a lot of questions that I don't have the answer to. So I come home after a day of being questioned, and I'll just sit in my chair and I'm like, oh, isn't this interesting that they've dropped a nuclear bomb on him? And I'll just wake up 30 minutes later or something, and I guess I'm low on sugar water or something.
Yeah. I may need a nap right now. I just yawned.
Did you? Well, that's usually when I'm talking.
When I yawn when you talk.
I've watched these other shows and you yawn while I talk.
Do I?
There was a yes from the cameraman. Thank you.
Well, it doesn't mean anything.
Oh, okay.
I'm just exercising my.
I got you. I'm with it. But I don't feel good when I wake up. I'm like,
when you wake up from a nap?
Yeah.
Or
from a nap. I don't,
it usually helps me out a little bit.
I walk around the house like a toddler. Do you ever do that early in the morning?
No. Like a toddler.
You know how toddlers be.
Well, I mean, I kind of walk like that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And drag my feet.
And my thumb in my mouth.
Yeah. Do you have your thumb in your mouth? Tammy says I drag my feet too much.
Yeah.
And,
well, what does she want you to march like a majorette?
I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'll ask her this evening.
Okay.
And,
so you didn't feel any better? Did you get your money's worth?
I guess. I don't even know what it cost.
And that's another question you might want to ask.
That.
I bet it was, I'm trying to think. I'm saying $36,000.
I figured maybe 50,000.
Wow. Boy.
Especially since I got the meatloaf. and the mashed potatoes.
I'm sorry. I should never have laughed at that. Have you noticed inflation creeping up a little bit? Or are you just too rich and it doesn't matter?
Yeah, I have.
Okay. Because, the place will remain unnamed because I love it. It's a wonderful place. But the other night I went in there and I ordered, they had a special for the night, and it was a hamburger. And I had a $36 hamburger. And I was
Get out of here.
Get out of here. I was like, excuse me.
$36 hamburger.
Where am I? And they said, what do you mean? I said, what location in the country am I at that I could buy a $36 hamburger?
And they said, that thick?
No.
Where you had to unhinge your jaw to put your mouth on it?
No, it's not Applebee's we're talking about. But it was they said, well, Brad, I don't know what's the problem, but you're in Nacogdoches. Welcome. And I was like, it was good. I mean, really good. Seriously. But I don't know. See, he's yawning.
I do that.
I know it's oxygen.
Yeah. I really enjoy talking to you.
But that was the first time I had noticed that actual inflation. I see it on the news. I hear about it. It's gone up 6% or 8% or something, but I had never felt it.
How much was it before inflation? What did that what was it listed on the?
It wasn't. No. See, that's your trick. If they don't list the price,
they can just ask what they want.
Yeah, and they had never served hamburgers before. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe it was their first time.
Yeah.
I thought all kinds of reasons. I thought, well, maybe the waiter's dyslexic, but that would have been $63 for that hamburger. So anyway, it was good. It was not your standard, hamburger.
Yeah.
But I'm a little worried about it.
$36.
Yeah. And
are you going to go back there tonight and get another one?
No, probably not. But I'll go again. I'll just be more prepared because my heart, I had a little atrial fabulation during that moment.
Did you?
Yeah.
Fabulation.
Well, I mean, when I got the bill and I thought, I looked at that hamburger, I was like,
sure.
Will my credit card work?
Yeah, I always do like this right here and do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's the way. And I had been it was maybe God was punishing me that night, but I was out with Julie and another friend, and I thought, I'm going to pick up the check tonight. So I said,
Did everybody get a 36?
Give him, hamburger? Well, two of us did. And Julie, sweet Julie, she drinks water. She's so healthy.
Yeah.
But I said, hey, when you bring that check, it's all on me. I used to be on the show. And then they brought it, and I'm like, how y'all want to split this up? But I didn't. I paid for it.
Yeah.
Anyway. So after you got well in Tyler, did you go out to restaurants and party? Tyler's a big town.
Yeah, not that day.
Oh, okay.
I did. They had a pretty good place, a pretty good Mexican food place right down the street, about 2 blocks from the hospital that I was at. And we went by there today, the day that I had that the doctor was telling me he was going to make me feel better.
Yeah.
In like 3 weeks when I came back.
And it was pretty good.
And it had a really, really good margarita. Really good. Little frozen job that it's some good cheese enchiladas.
Now let's talk about Tyler. Why does Tyler have shops made out of diamonds and streets that are paved in gold, and you've seen the ladies there with that big old Dallas hairdo and stuff. What's the difference? It's not that far from here.
I don't know. I have no idea.
It's amazing.
And then I had to go up there to get that procedure done.
Because they have hospitals made out of diamonds with a gold driveway leading up to it.
Yeah.
And doctors are all there like taking the Rolexes off before they scrub. And what's the deal?
I don't know. I don't know, but it was a good experience.
And how did Melody? Is she going to have this now, Melody?
No, she had it done
long
when
ago.
she was 16 years old,
and it worked.
Yeah, that's what I was. I never. Sometimes I don't finish my stories.
Oh, okay.
And thank you for. But
because I interrupted, probably.
It wasn't. But anyway, she had that done, and she told me when we were on the way up there, on the way back, that she had never had any more problem with that after that. And that was a pretty expensive little deal back then too. And what I was going to say, that was when she got one of the first ones that was ever done.
Well, that's scary.
Yeah. But I mean, she had to do something. You couldn't just keep on. I mean, it would just maybe do that 2 or 3 times a day, and you go dunk your face in a bucket of ice water and change it, and then before dark, it was doing it again. I mean, it was bad. And then she came down here, and I took notice of it, and we just decided we found someone that could fix it. So we got it fixed. And it was and I would have probably stayed in the hospital down there overnight, but their COVID problems up there are terrible, and
they have even their
they
COVID.
want you out of that hospital and gone. They don't want you there any longer. And I was fine to go.
So, do you think their COVID is better than ours?
Maybe so.
Like diamond buildings, gold streets. Yeah. COVID's made out of copper or something.
Yeah.
Huh.
So
now, do you think you can not yawn while I tell you my heart story?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm not going to yawn.
Watch him, Armando, and we'll see if he can make it. When I was 12 years old, this is not a funny story, but I woke up one night. My brother and I, do you know what a Hollywood bed is?
No.
Okay.
I used to have a Hollywood flat top. That's the only thing I ever had. It was Hollywood.
At this time in life, when you're young, I maybe been 11 something, but my parents had decided to separate my brother and I because he was 4 years older than I was, and maybe things were different when you're 4 years older than an 11-year older. But anyway, they went out to some furniture store and bought twin beds that said Hollywood beds on them. Now, I think that set me on the pattern of going to Los Angeles, possibly. But they were white, padded headboards. Anyway, so we were asleep one night in this bedroom, and all of a sudden his bed, began to rattle and shake and walk across the room. And it woke me up, and I yelled out for my mother. And she came in, and we had one of those light bulbs on a string, and she pulled that light on, which made it start swinging across the room. And that kind of thing. And so there was light coming over here and light coming over here. And my brother was laying in bed, and the bed was like The Exorcist. It was banging and doing that. And that started a 2-year ordeal for us, because I curled up in the corner of the room trying to get out of the way, but they had an ambulance come out from 20 miles away from the nearest town. And actually my dad had to drive to the paved road to meet the ambulance, because
out where the cattle guard is.
Yeah, because he could. The ambulance kept driving up and down the road, couldn't find the address. They didn't have GPS and stuff then. And so he went out to the road and flagged them down, brought them home. They loaded up my brother. And that started a thing where doctor. They finally sent him to Dallas, Texas, which nobody had ever even been to or heard of. And he had one of the first open heart surgeries, because they said his heart was congenitally defective or something. And the stitches, when they made the heart surgery, the stitches came loose. And it gave him a stroke in his right-hand side. So he went from being this real handsome, good dude to, a person who couldn't drive. And, they got him one of those balls on his car so he could drive with one hand, and all that. And used to work out and do all that kind of stuff. Anyway, not too long of a story, but by the time, after a year and a half or so of trying to get well and all that stuff, he started having some kind of terrible thing happened, and they got in an ambulance and drove us 90 miles to Lubbock. And the whole family following in the car, and people screaming and crying and freaking out. And we got halfway to Lubbock, Texas, at Post, Texas, and the ambulance pulled over, which is not a good sign. The ambulance pulled over and said, "Your brother's dying," or "Steve is dying."
Yeah.
And everybody jumped back in the car, and they raced on into Post, Texas, pulled into this little tiny hospital, took him in there, and then after 10 minutes or so, the whole family came out just screaming like I'd never seen before in my life. And both my sisters were married and had husbands. I was a baby. I was 13 or whatever, but I was alone. My mother was falling into my father's arms. And it was a sad time. It's terribly sad.
I can imagine.
But it's weird to me, because I was standing out in that parking lot all by myself, because everybody was all hugged to their respective mates and comforting each other. And I was out in the parking lot alone. And I remember looking up in the sky, and I started screaming, "There's Steve. Steve's up in the sky." It was a sunset kind of thing. And that scarred me for a long time.
I bet it did.
And there's lots more to that story, but that was I have a deep connection to heart stories and stuff like that.
What about what year the open heart, one of the first open hearts? Would that have been in about 66 to 68?
Before about 6, yeah. He died in 63, so it was probably 61 or 2.
Okay.
And years later, long after I'd gone to college and moved away and stuff, my parents were still paying on that surgery. So here it is in the late 70s. maybe early 80s, and they were still paying their $50 a month or whatever it was to pay for that heart surgery for a kid who had been dead for 30 years. And it's a pretty dramatic time, actually. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But, they were salt of the earth
So what
people.
connection, what is the connection with you and the telethon that you go to?
Well, funny you should ask, because I have a hat here that says 60 years of rehab. And people are like, Brad, you've been in rehab for 60 years? And I'm like, no. There was a place in Abilene, Texas, and they helped you if you had a stroke or a heart attack or something like my brother had had. They helped you whether you had money and insurance or whether you were just like our family, just poor farmers. And so they took my brother down there once a week or every a couple of days while he was alive, and they gave him rehabilitation, learned to use his arm again and learned to use his leg again. And they treated us for free. And my family...
Anything you had done down there was no cost.
No cost. You just walked in and they welcomed you.
That was a neat deal.
It was neat. It still does that to this day.
Yeah, I know that's kind of probably why you make it a point to go there every year.
That's right. 10, 20 years later, after that, I'm on the soap opera, and the people there find out that, I'm on a soap opera. And so they invited me there to help raise money for that place, because every year after my brother died, my father would give them a yearling calf to auction off to make money to donate it to them. Not like we could afford it, but it was a connection. You were family if you helped our brother. Yeah. And so I was lucky enough that they started inviting me to the show about in 84 or so. Yeah. And I've been there ever since. I go back every year, and last year we raised about $1.4 million to fund these kind of free services and stuff. Yeah. And when I first went there, we raised, $300,000 or $400,000 a year, but they've raised around $30 million. In the years since
been affiliated with.
I had nothing to do with that 30 million, but I certainly have tried to help them. Yeah. So it's close to our heart.
I knew it was close to you. But we just never did talk a whole lot about it. And of course, you'd have to tell me about twice a year because I forget stuff so easy now.
Yeah. It actually became a very therapeutic thing for my family. When we used to go the first time that I sang and stuff on there, I couldn't get through the song. It was like, it meant a whole lot. And my family would all come from everywhere and sit through the show and cry and blah, 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 all this stuff, grieving over my brother. And then toward the end of my parents' lives, it actually became a very healthy thing where we came to the telethon. We were joyful. The grief had gone. It's still there, but it was gone, and they loved seeing it. And we could enjoy it. Yeah. And that's an amazing thing, too, that you can transfer something so bad into something so good,
It's neat, these things that like that go on. There's a lot of things that people can pay in to help good organizations now. Mm-hmm. I see them on TV all the time.
It's different than the cynical cynicism that this world we live in right now is. Yeah. There are people that honestly, genuinely do good things for good people. And I hope that we get back to that eventually.
It's a lot of those $11 a month deals that you can pay in.
Yeah, some of them good.
That's how do you find out?
Well, all you really have to do is look at the salaries of the people that run that thing, and also just take a simple moment and look into their books and say, if they're taking in $100,000 and spending $90,000 on
it's no good
salaries and stuff, that's just a racket.
Yeah.
But if you find somebody that's spending 90% of their stuff treating people and 10% on their salaries, then good for them.
Yeah.
Because I highly disagree with this thing, like, because the head executive in Dallas makes so much dollars a year that you need to live here in Nacogdoches, you are the head of Whataburger and you need to make that same amount that they make in Dallas. I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
We live in different places. Don't want to get too political on you, but you know.
Anyway, so
let's look at that camera for a second. What do you think that camera thinks? You think people are listening out there? God, I wish they'd phone in. We got to get that going.
I wish old Thelma would call in.
Yeah, call in.
Poogie, what you doing?
Hey, Brad.
Hi, Brad. This is Julie.
You know? And then there's Scrappy.
Hey, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm having bees sting my knees and stuff.
I'm just in a bunch of bees, and they're just stinging me all over.
Wait a minute, I'm Smokey.
I thought about her yesterday.
Killing deers on
subdivision.
Yeah.
And
we had some good callers back then. We still have those good callers. We just can't pick it up yet.
Yeah.
We did have some fun.
Yeah.
I remember when somebody brought you a red velvet cake across the road. We were having a sale on the trail, and it's kind of his favorite cake. He mixes it with Bluebell. It's into a syrup kind of thing. But he didn't want anybody else to have that Bluebell, and he put it on the back of his four-wheeler and raced over to his house here so that he could have it all to himself. And I remember, maybe I'm wrong, maybe you need to fix this, but his guitar bounced off the four-wheeler on the way, and he ran over your guitar. You know what that's called? Karma. For hiding that red velvet cake from all of us.
I did get a red velvet cake. I sure did. And well, it was bad for all those people that.
Oh, it was for their health?
Yeah, it was a healthy thing, you know. And
okay.
Oh, me.
We did have some fun. One night, we had a Christmas party. Those people like to party. And we had a Christmas party.
One overthrow?
Yeah. And
I was giving turnip greens away for
sacks of turnip greens for Christmas presents. And you know what the clamor for that was? People really wanted that. The other thing that we had done, we could tell this, we went by Walmart and bought out their bras and panties because it was Christmas.
Yeah.
And we wanted to give our viewers and listeners
some underwear.
Because I'm not sure that many of them had them. Or if they were made out of like naga hide or rawhide or something. They were a tough group. So that night when you called out your name, we'd be like, Hamburger Patty.
Yeah.
We'd throw that across the room. It was fun.
Yeah. Then we got to exchanging gifts if you didn't.
Yeah.
And you got a pair of something that was warm.
Yeah. And
It was like
wasn't warm outside.
Yeah, it was cold that night.
Somebody had those panties on.
And I believe, was it Dr. Polk that drove out here to over there and got him some turnip greens that night?
Yeah.
He came into the party and wanted some of them greens.
Yeah.
I had a big old patch of turnip green.
That's almost, you have to understand the levels around here. That was like having Prince Charles drive over to Thrall's and pick up some poke salad Annie or something.
Some turnip. I need some of them greens.
Hello. Yes, we're here.
Hello. They come for some greens.
I know. And we were happy to give them to him. You raised them.
Yeah.
You have some photographs here. Are there some interesting ones in there?
I don't know. Probably so.
This is a very manly kind of album. Did you put that together?
I might have.
Okay. Makes me think of Judy Carn.
That's one of my old fire department pictures. That is a bunch of guys that I know every one of them. Those guys were anywhere from about 2 to 4 or 5 years older than me. Mm-hmm. And my grandfather, Joe Alders, is in that picture. And then the other older guy is the truck driver, the guy that drove down here from Arkansas to pick those melons up. But I have since made a bunch of these, had some copies of this made.
Yeah.
And I have given every one of those guys at the time when I gave them a copy of it, all of those guys
were alive.
Except my grandfather. He got killed in '66. Turned the tractor over on him.
Oh.
But, anyway, that was and that was with the fire department. I had went out, and it was a firefighter's wife that had the cat in the tree. And
no, wait, the firefighter's wife is in your lap there?
No. His wife, that was her cat that was in the tree, and she called in, and we sent a truck over there, and I climbed up there and got the cat, and then got clawed pretty good.
Are you sure it looks like a raccoon, kind of?
What?
Well, look at it. Doesn't that look like a raccoon?
No, that's a cat.
Oh, it's a cat.
Yeah, it's definitely a cat.
Now, what's that on your upper lip that you had back then?
Oh, it's an old mustache.
What year was that? Because your hair's down in your face.
It's in about
68, 69?
No, I didn't go to work till 71. It's about 73, 74, 2, 3, 4.
Some of these are pretty. He was a race car driver. I don't know if you can see this
You
one.
tore my book up.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all right.
You can see that he was a race car driver. He was originally number 13.
We changed that up to 48. I don't know why.
What was the meaning of 13 and 48? Was that
nothing?
Nothing.
13 is a kind. People thought that was unlucky.
Right.
Well, I proved that wrong. I won a bunch of races in the 13.
Did you win money when you won races?
Yes, won money. Yeah, sure did. And then they had some. This like back up just a little bit there. That one, right? Yeah. Some of them you'd win a trophy, but most of them you won. If you won the feature race, which was the last race of the night, where you ran 25 or 50 laps, and you could win back in the. I was doing that back in the 67, 68 up to about 74 or 5. You could win $100 or $2 on a feature race.
Wow.
That these guys did. Are you on the one with 3 of us there? Let's see. Let me see. Yeah, that's old on the right hand side. That's Hayden Eddings that had Hayden's Muffler Shop.
Yeah.
On North Street. Just recently passed away. And then the other guy back there is Jimmy Lee. He's a retired firefighter. He and I worked together at the city, and that was me that was in the early 70s right there. I was probably
like a bunch of tough dudes, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
There's a picture. That's you right there, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah. That was me in that other picture, too, in there with Hayden and Jimmy.
Yeah.
And anyway, yeah.
Okay.
We look like tough dudes.
Yeah, look like you might have a fight at the Sonic or something.
Yeah, could.
Possibly. Got a girlfriend, probably married her.
Yeah. Look at this one right here. I need to get back there.
Oh, look at that. That's your goal weight right now?
Yeah. I weighed about 150 pounds there.
Yeah.
And,
those are good old days.
Yeah.
People, if you got back to that size, people would be asking you if you had the big C or if something was wrong.
Yeah.
That's the weird thing. They wouldn't be like all wonderful. This is weird to me because I have this same exact photograph of this same exact person in my school book. wearing the same shirt.
Which guy?
All these four.
Yeah.
So did you go to school with
I
me?
guess
out
I
in
did,
West
because
Texas?
that's all old Poog.
I mean, the same shirts. I've got quilts made out of his shirt.
With the little soldiers on them?
Yeah, and talk about hip. Check that paisley out.
Yeah. That's me and my little sister down there.
Thought that was his first wife.
Look at that wheelie on there.
It's hard to see.
Yeah.
Wow. This is sort of like, this is your life.
Yeah.
And then you became a fireman and
Yeah.
started putting out
Started chasing fire trucks.
I've messed your
It's okay.
here.
It's okay. I just,
Wait, you were in the military?
yeah.
Check that out. That's Vietnam, right?
No, that was in,
World War One.
during Vietnam. I didn't go to Vietnam. That was in,
Where'd they send you? Like Hawaii or
they
something?
sent me back to Texas. And
What-
Fort
what-
Hood, Fort Polk, all the little places around here.
What battles
Anywhere they didn't.
What were they battling in Texas at that time?
We were going out to Fort Hood, and we were at Fort Hood
Marching.
taking tanks into mud holes and getting them dirty, and coming back and spending about a half a day on a wash rack cleaning them up. And
So did you get any PTSD from that or anything?
no, I came out good.
Good.
Went in there and got out just as quick as I could.
Yeah. How's boot camp?
It was all right if a person knew a little bit of history on it before they went there, they could have had a lot more fun than I did. You know how?
What do you mean?
I'll just how that they scream and holler at you. Well, they couldn't do nothing to you,
Yeah.
Just
They say stuff like your butt belongs to me or something.
yeah, just all kind of ugly things.
Yeah.
And anyway, I just didn't pay it any attention. But you could have really probably had some fun with them. Just
But they didn't get
Terrorize.
right in your face and make you shake or cry or anything.
not me.
They're afraid you'd kick. You probably had that Manson look back then.
I could give it to them. Yeah.
That stink eye.
Oh me.
Well, I think that's about it for today. I know. I'm sorry that we made you laugh until you couldn't breathe anymore. Don't get the Corolla. It's fine. Next show, or in the next week, when are we having
Steve.
Steve
First day of
Cooper?
October.
Tell us a
It's
little bit
not-
about him.
About Steve?
Yeah.
Steve and I are the same age. He and I went to school together. We got together in school at the sixth grade level. We went to different elementary schools early on, and then we got there. And
Was it
he
immediate?
and I
like,
knew each other because we both, Bill Stanland is my first cousin. And so is Steve is his first cousin.
So you're related. You're related to
No, I'm
everybody
not
I meet.
related to him.
Oh,
Not-
okay.
Not a bit.
Okay.
We just both had a cousin that was the same guy. But anyway, we learned to pray. As a matter of fact, Steve taught me everything that I ever knew about a guitar.
So he could play.
He's just one of those kind of people like Cade is, my boy.
Right.
17. He just had it and really figured everything out about playing music. And Steve had to kind of work with me. We had a little rock band in high school, and
What was it called?
the Tasmanians.
Where'd you get that name?
I don't know. Steve came up with it.
Okay. He just had everything.
Steve will be here on the 1st of October with us, and we'll have a big time because he's not a bashful guy.
Oh, okay.
He'll
now when you were
a lot of energy.
When you were in the 6th grade, did he have that hair? I mean,
I have a picture of us. I have a picture of the Tasmanians, and I'll get that out and have that.
Okay.
Have that forest.
I saw a picture of him. Had never met him. I didn't know who he was, but I saw a picture of him the other day on Nashville Now, and he had like Farrah Fawcett would have traded with him. I mean, he had the best hair I've ever seen.
Hair.
Oh, I mean, it was like it was in a constant state of motion, blowing backwards, and blonde, and he was a good-looking guy. Is probably still a good-looking guy, but
I mean,
I want him
it's not like that. His hair's not like that anymore, but he is have some.
Marty Stewart probably stole his hair, I bet.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah. But I definitely want him to bring some pictures and his old hair to the show because I was interested in that too. So,
we'll try to do a extra lengthy one with him. He's got we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
And he's this will be interesting. He's still got lots of friends in Nacogdoches, and we all graduated at the same time. And anyway, it'll be a good show. Should be.
Good. Well, this is Poogie and Maule, smack over East Texas here, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.